Well, I made it to the final video of booking WrestleMania 49 1. Gunther vs Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship and the Intercontinental Championship will be the main event of my Night 1. So I'm recording this video a few days after CM Punk returned to WWE, and it looks like Seth vs Punk is happening at WrestleMania. So Gunther, Seth, I don't think that's probably happening, but I'm still gonna make a video on it because I already made a video about CM Punk and that's just gonna mess up my whole storyline, so we're gonna do this video. So Seth Rollins does hold his title up until WrestleMania. And Gunther, on the other hand, I was really thinking long and hard about this, but I would legit have him hold the IC title while fighting for the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania. It might sound a bit crazy, but hear me out. So the storyline starts at the Royal Rumble. Gunther is still champion and he comes out at number 1 just like he did in 2023. And number 2 would be Chad Gable, both with serious history, two men collaborating a way to fight for a world title opportunity at WrestleMania. Gable almost manages to eliminate Gunther early in the match, but he stays in. But then Gable gets eliminated late in the match. So currently Gunther has been in the ring for over an hour. He's fought and clawed his way through the Rumble, eliminating a bunch of people. The only man in his way now is Cody Rhodes. It's the final 2 people in the Rumble. It's Cody Rhodes, it's Gunther. No one else left to come in. Whoever gets eliminated loses, and whoever, eliminates gets the win. So just like last year, Cody and Gunther have a little mini match for around 10 minutes. Cody is trying to get back to Roman to finish the story, and then Gunther is trying to win the Rumble to go on to become world champion. Towards the end of the match, after a hard fought battle, Gunther manages to eliminate Cody Rhodes, and he wins the match. Gunther is now going to face the world champion of his choosing at WrestleMania in the main event. Gunther stands tall while looking at Cody Rhodes failing to get the job done. The Raw after the Royal Rumble, Imperium is in the ring about to tell the world who Gunther will face at WrestleMania. He starts off by saying, "I am the Intercontinental Champion and I, Gunther, will face Seth Rollins in the main event of WrestleMania and become a double champion." For the past 3 years, ever since I stepped foot on the main roster, my statement has been made clear as the biggest and baddest beast on the roster. After I lasted for more than an hour, twice coming out the Royal Rumble at number 1, twice, and now Gunther gives Seth his warning shots. You need to count your days because I'm coming for your title, and trust me when I say this, I'm gonna be the most hardest person you ever defended that title against. So Gunther makes his statement known. He tells Seth Rollins that he's coming for him and the World Heavyweight Championship, and then he leaves the ring. It has been made official. Seth freaking Rollins versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship at the main event of WrestleMania. Later in the night, Seth Rollins comes down to the ring. He's not dancing, he's not smiling, he's very serious. He takes off his sunglasses and he looks deep into the hard cam. He says, "I know who I'm dealing with at WrestleMania. Gunther is the Intercontinental Champion, reigning for almost 2 years, never being pinned for over 3 years, dominating every single person who stepped in the ring with him. So I ain't no idiot, but I'm also not gonna stand out here complimenting him. So Gunther, get your ass on out of here. I wanna see you face to face." So Gunther alongside Imperium circle around the ring. So yeah, Gunther does show up and he surrounds Seth Rollins. Now Seth Rollins is outnumbered. While the 3 members of Imperium are surrounding Seth, Gunther has a microphone and says, "Is this what you asked for?" while going face to face with Seth Rollins. Both men go face to face, staring a hole down each other. Now this is Seth's biggest challenge during his title reign and Gunther's biggest opponent as Intercontinental Champion. Gunther says, "Hello, old friend," and he smiles. And he smiles at Seth. Seth then responds by saying, "Oh, no, don't you play games with me, pal. I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to threaten me. You're trying to make me feel like the underdog." Well, Gunther, frankly, I have some news to share with you. I am not quite the underdog. I'm the People's World Champion, the World heavyweight champion of WWE. And then Gunther stops Seth Rollins and he lets him know that you may be the world champ, but for the past 2 years, I've been making this title worth fighting for, excelling the prestige of this title to an all-time high, the highest it's ever been. I'm the greatest Intercontinental Champion, so what makes you even think in the slight moments that I can't take away that title from you easily? So come WrestleMania, Seth, I will become double champion. Gunther drops the mic and he leaves. He leaves Seth Rollins shocked. Now this is the last time we see Seth Rollins and Gunther until after the Elimination Chamber. So since Seth and Gunther are fighting champions at the Elimination Chamber, Gunther is facing Bronson Reed for the Intercontinental Championship, and Seth Rollins is facing Chad Gable for his World Heavyweight Championship. Somehow, I don't know why. Both men retain their respective titles at the Elimination Chamber, and they have their confidence to an all-time high. The Raw after Elimination Chamber, Gunther has an announcement. He starts off by saying, you know, it's a great day to beat Gunther. I beat Bronson Reed in Australia. Seth Rollins retained against a clown called Chad Gable. In less than 6 weeks, I finally get my hands on the World Heavyweight Championship. But before I get to that, I have something to tell you. At WrestleMania, there will be a fatal 5-way match consisting of 5 failures who manage to lose to the Ring General. All 5 men will compete in an Intercontinental #1 contenders ladder match at WrestleMania to determine who will face me after I win the World Heavyweight Championship and keep my Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania. Now shifting my attention towards Seth Rollins. I hope you know who I am because I know you're scared. The Raw after Royal Rumble, you demanded for me to come down to the middle of this ring to go face to face, and I did exactly what you asked for. I made my statement known. See, Seth, I'm holding gold, and you know, that's great and all, but you can never have enough gold. At this point, Seth Rollins confronts Gunther and makes his entrance. Seth is now face to face with Gunther again for the 2nd time in a row. Seth is annoyed, goes off. He says, you know, Gunther, ever since you won the Rumble, I had respect for you. Everything that you did with that title. The only negative thing I said about you is that you're not gonna walk out of WrestleMania as World Heavyweight Champion. So what's the problem? If you want to keep taking shots at me, we can make this personal. So if you think you're confident, why don't we up the antiques? Why don't you put your Intercontinental Championship on the line and make it a double title match? Winner takes all. Gunther looks at himself, seeming a tiny bit nervous to reply. When he hears the news, Gunther leaves the ring without giving Seth Rollins an answer. And that's how that segment ends. We still need to find out if Gunther accepts the challenge or not. So the next week, we see Seth Rollins in the ring waiting for an answer. He starts off by saying, oh, it's been 7 days too many. I want my answer. I'm sick of waiting. The patience inside of me has been bursting with curiosity. We're live on Monday Night Raw. I know you're back there. And now Seth gets interrupted by Imperium. Giovanni Vinci and Ludwig Kaiser confront Seth Rollins and they slowly walk to the ring. They look at Seth and they just start beating Seth Rollins down. It's a 2-on-1 handicap attack. Seth Rollins is down. Vinci and Kaiser are absolutely tumbling Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is hurt and he is down. The attack is pure brutal and it's all because of Gunther. So at this point, while Seth is down, Gunther makes his entrance, proud of his boys. He gets in the ring and looks at Seth Rollins, picks him up and gives Seth a powerbomb. And then one more to make his statement known. Gunther grabs the mic and tells Seth, yes, I accept your proposal because I have nothing to worry about. And then he leaves. So we finally got the answer. This match will now be for the heavyweight title and the IC title. Winner will take all. Later in the night, we see a backstage interview and Gunther is asked on why you attacked Seth Rollins tonight. Now Gunther says that Seth needs to be put down. He's a lion trying to fight a beast. What I did out there needed to be done, and now I gotta let him know because there's no one else. And the only one who can let him know is me because there is no one else that can threaten him like I can. His ego and confidence needs to be put an end to, and I'm the only one that can do it. Gunther then storms off. The next week on Raw, Seth Rollins is busy, not with Gunther, but with CM Punk. heel CM Punk. So heel CM Punk is in the ring and he calls out Seth Rollins and they have a little altercation. Nothing too important for this storyline, but if you guys want to look deeper into it, I made the entire video about CM Punk. You guys can go check it out. So yeah. So later in the night we see a backstage promo from Gunther and Imperium. So all of them are there. Gunther and Giovanni are talking while Ludwig Kaiser isn't really in the conversation. Gunther and Vinci talk game plan for Mania, but then Ludwig Kaiser is in the corner and he tries to get the attention of Gunther, but he gets ignored. And then eventually he just leaves the scene. So the tensions between Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther are brewing, and it's seeming like Ludwig Kaiser will break off into a singles competitor more and more as the weeks go on. I'll further elaborate on this little mini story in a separate video because I do have Ludwig Kaiser on the WrestleMania card. So anyways, the next week things get intense. It's announced that a face-to-face will happen between Gunther and Seth Rollins. Rollins comes down to the ring not looking too happy. He seems like ever since Gunther won the Royal Rumble, his attitude has been shifted to an opposite side of what he usually is. He's usually singing, dancing, having a good time, but we've seen none of that for the past few weeks. Before Seth can even get a word in, Gunther comes down to the ring with only Giovanni Vinci and no Ludwig Kaiser. Gunther has been making it clear that he's tough and he's the biggest threat to Seth Rollins' championship. Every single time these two are face to face in the ring with each other, the crowd is just always electric. Seth starts off the promo by saying, you've changed a lot. The last time we met in the ring bell to bell was Survivor Series 2019, when you were Walter, when you were in NXT, when there wasn't tension between your Imperium, when you weren't terrorizing Monday Night Rollins. Everyone knows that I'm the face of Monday Night Raw, and you know it. You only have 3 more weeks until you find out how much I've changed, because all I need to do is put you down for the 1, 2, 3. Gunther then stops Seth Rollins and he says, "You're saying you've changed. In 2020 you were trying to pop an eye socket out. In 2021 you were gooed in the face. In 2022 you failed to win the WWE Universal Championship against Roman Reigns. So in 2023 they made an entire championship with your name on it. See, you've changed for the worse and I changed for the better. Look at me 2 years ago. Look at me now. I did more with the Intercontinental Championship than you could ever do in your entire career. Coming up on 3 years on the main roster, I still haven't been pinned once. How many people can go around saying what I say, doing what I do, and creating a legacy in a short amount of time that I do? Not many. So Seth, I hope you understand. As the weeks go by, you know that your time is up. And at WrestleMania, I'm gonna walk out with the Intercontinental Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship. Oh, no, I don't think so, pal. I came way too far to be put down by someone like you. Someone who can't even manage 2 people. Someone who doesn't even care about what I made this title into. I'm the first World Heavyweight Champion, and after WrestleMania, everyone will go back to calling me Seth 2 belts because that's who I will be after WrestleMania. Seth then tries to leave the ring, but then Gunther attacks Seth in the ring. Gunther is furious. He can't stand all the verbal attacks that Seth Rollins is shooting at him, so he blindsides Seth Rollins and starts beating him down by himself. He gets the upper hand against Seth Rollins and he makes his statement known. All these weeks, Gunther isn't afraid to get physical on Seth. If you know he has to, he will beat him down. But this is going to take a dark toll on Gunther the next week. To the Raw after that little promo / beatdown, Seth Rollins blindsides Gunther in the backstage area. Seth Rollins gets revenge on Gunther. Seth is beating Gunther down. He uses chairs, kendos, all types of weapons, letting Gunther know what's in store for him at WrestleMania. But then Gunther has had enough. He's the ring general in and out of the ring. He gets his ass up like he's scared of the 6 and then lets Seth know that he's got properties and standards. He picks himself up and he starts chopping away. He keeps saying, "I'm the ring general for a reason. Not a single man has ever attacked me backstage, and you're finding out why." And while Gunther is just chopping away Seth Rollins, Seth's chest is completely bruised from all the chops, and then Gunther leaves Seth Rollins laying on the floor, and then Gunther leaves getting the upper hand against Seth Rollins. So after Gunther leaves, Seth is genuinely in shock to what Gunther had done to him. He's laying on the floor and he realized that he's all alone. No one is coming to help him. He starts to realize that he's not what he used to be. So later on that night, Gunther is in the ring furious and he storms off in the ring and he starts off by saying, "I'm tired of this. I won the Royal Rumble from #1 and this is who my opponent is." What a disgrace. What a complete disgrace to this sport. A champion who can't even survive outside the ring. A champion who is not ready to face Gunther. The same people who want Seth Rollins to be champion is the same people who wish that I lose at WrestleMania. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you better pray, and pray some more, because every single one of you will be wrong. He might be Seth freaking Rollins, but the ring general never fails. Seth Rollins now comes out through the curtains to confront Gunther. He is barely standing. He's hurt, he's bruised, he's battered, barely able to stand on one leg. He has a microphone in his hand and says, "I always come back. You think you might got the upper hand now, but you wait. You just wait." Meanwhile, Gunther is in the ring just smiling at Seth Rollins. You know, he sees that Seth can barely even speak. He can barely walk. So at WrestleMania, it's a light work. So now the next week is the Raw before WrestleMania. With only a few more days before Seth Rollins and Gunther main event night 1 of WrestleMania, Seth Rollins is seen in a backstage interview. He seems to be feeling a bit more better, a bit more relaxed, less anxious about having to deal with Gunther. Now the interviewer tells Seth how he's holding up with the brutal attacks coming from Gunther. Now Seth tells her to look at me. Look what that man has done to me. Never in my life have seen someone more hungry to fight for the championship in my life. But I'm not a man who gets knocked down without giving a receipt at the end. So as soon as I find him, I'm gonna tear him apart. I'm gonna rip him down to shreds." And then Gunther comes in and blindsides Seth Rollins. He attacks him, but Seth Rollins dodges the attack. Gunther gets blindsided by Seth. Gunther didn't really know that Seth would actually put up a fight, but he's on the floor, and the pure aggressiveness from Seth Rollins has grew to an all-time high. Rollins lands a curb stomp on the fucking concrete and makes his statement known against Gunther. Rollins leaves Gunther on the floor to suffer. Final segment before WrestleMania ends with Gunther on the floor and Rollins ready to go toe-to-toe with Gunther at WrestleMania. So now it is time. The build is over. The main event of night 1 is here. After an insane night, the Intercontinental Championship and the World Heavyweight Championship is on the line. Seth Rollins versus Gunther. Seth makes his entrance confident that he has a chance to be the first person to pin Gunther clean on the main roster, a chance to get back to being a feared superstar. Seth Rollins is trying his best not to break down. Then Gunther arrives. No introduction from Ludwig Kaiser, no Vinci, no Kaiser, just him. He looks like a star, having his Intercontinental Championship around his waist, the 2024 Royal Rumble winner, longest reigning Intercontinental Champion of all time, ready to face Seth Rollins. The bell has rung. These two men go at it right away. All the waiting is over, the mayhem has begun, and Gunther will chop after chop after chop. Seth trying to fight back, landing a pedigree early in the match. He caught Gunther off guard and he tried to capitalize. But sooner rather than later, Gunther gets back up and he starts really getting into it, grabbing Seth and putting him down on the floor with ease. Seth and Gunther's back and forth in this match is really showing. The crowd is really on Seth's side because they feel bad for all the punishment that he's went through before the match. So with the help of the crowd, Seth gets back up and he lands a curb stomp to Gunther. He goes for the pin. 1, 2, no, Gunther kicks out. 25 minutes into the match, after many kickouts, many finishers, these two men are still in the ring. They're still fighting because they know what's on the line. And now this is how the match ends. Both Seth and Gunther are laying down on the floor, but they get up screaming at each other. Gunther then takes the opportunity and he gets Seth Rollins high up and he lands a power bomb. Gunther then looks at Seth. Gunther then picks Seth up and he gives him the nastiest chop in the entirety of mankind. Then he goes on the top rope and lands a massive splash. Gunther picks up Seth once again and he lands a lariat clothesline and he goes for the pin. 1, 2, 3. Gunther has pinned Seth Rollins. Oh my, is Damian Priest with the referee coming down to the ring. Priest is about to cash in. Priest is about to cash in his Money in the Bank contract. Gunther's shocked while in the ring. What is happening? Priest tells the announcer that he's cashing in for the World Heavyweight Championship. He gets in the ring. Priest lands it south of heaven to Gunther. He goes for the pin. And he gets the 1 count. He gets the 2 count. But no. Did you really think Gunther would win the title and then lose it after a few minutes? No. Gunther picks up his ass from the canvas and he picks up Damian Priest. He lands a triple power bomb to end Damian Priest's dreams right there on the spot. Gunther retains and Damian Priest's cash-in was unsuccessful. Gunther walks out of WrestleMania as Intercontinental Champion and World Heavyweight Champion, a star-making performance, beating both Seth and Damian Priest after the match. Both Seth and Priest are laying down on the floor, and that's how night 1 of WrestleMania goes off the air. Pretty wild. I mean, I think I am a little proud of myself for, not quitting halfway through the series. But this is night 1 and I always do both nights. So night 2 will be the next batch of videos. There will be 7 more booking videos. I'll see you guys in night 2. The first match of night 2 will be Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre, mate. So yeah, I'll see you guys in that video. Other than that, peace out.